Flightboss, bitch, you know, for sure. Air, Gramps, O's. You know, you're now listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God's duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And we in this motherfucker right now. We finna talk about, shit. Yeah, I'm getting in my motherfucking Venus series right now. So what's the first sign? Aries. So we're gonna do Venus and Aries. Venus and Aries real quick. So now right here, Venus and Aries. Now look, let's talk about Venus real quick for a little flight, couple seconds. Now Venus, you know, Venus is how you feel. Now I'm gonna put out a video on how to separate your emotions from feelings, because feelings is what fuel your emotions. Now it's a thin line between emotions and feelings. You know what I'm saying? It's a thin line. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do a video on that. But right now we're gonna Venus is the feeling side. Now, as far as the family side, Venus is the daughter. Venus is the daughter. You know what I'm saying? So what Venus does, you know what I'm saying? You know, the sun is the father, the moon is the mother, Mercury is the the youngest sibling. Okay, right? And then the daughter. You know what I'm saying? Then it's Venus is the daughter. You know what I'm saying? So Mercury is like Venus's brother, right? Then we could talk about Venus on the religious side of things. Venus is the morning star. You know what I'm saying? And the morning star get replicated in the Bible as Satan. You know what I'm saying? Which not Satan but Lucifer. Those two different things. You know what I'm saying? Lucifer is the morning star within the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And scientifically, you know what I'm saying? Another flight word. You know, Venus represents, you know, where the distance of how far it's from the Earth. It's the freaking second rock from the sun. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third, scientifically and all that. So scientifically, naturally, fucking religiously, all that, another flight word, all that shit at the same time equates to the same shit that at the end of the day, Venus can only be 2 signs away from your sun sign at max, because of where it stands scientifically, where it stands, and where it stands religiously. All that shit's talking about the same shit. So let's talk about motherfucking the first sign, which is Venus and motherfucking you know what? I can't even do this video on that. I'm gonna do this video just specifically on Venus right now, since I didn't got into that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, at the same time, Venus is how you feel. So Venus is the love. Venus is you may feel hatred. Then hatred may go into your intent, which is Mars. You can feel love. Then love can go into your intent, which you intentionally try to do, which that goes into your Mars. And Mars is your intentions, you know what I'm saying, your willpower, you know what I'm saying, which you will into this existence. So if you're a person who from the moon sign think real negative, and then your sun sign put negative actions out into the world, you know what I'm saying, then your intentions behind it was Mars. So the intentions you got behind it is what you're going to draw back. Is what's going to come back. What goes around comes back around. So the intent is what goes. So Mars controls intentions. So actually Mars controls parts of aspects of what goes around comes back around, and it holds a power will, because all the planets goes around and come back around. But the aggression and the passion that Mars has carries the energy of certain negative or certain aggressive or certain or just a certain amount of courage type of energy that it drags on the perception of a person's intentions. So when a person have negative intentions from whatever their mind on, whatever their moon sign is on, whatever their moon sign is into, whatever they like to communicate, what is their Mercury, whatever they actions show, what is their sun sign, whatever, and how they appreciate it, how the feelings that they have behind it, which is their Venus. If their intentions is good, which is going to be their Mars. If their intentions is good or bad, is going to determine what will that actually Mars represents, the willpower, the soldier, whatever what the soldier soldiers do. Soldiers go home remembering what they just did, and when they just killed so many people, they have flashbacks or whatever like that. So they carry that with them back home. So they may wake up in hot flashes and shit like that. So that's what Mars do. Mars is the soldier, whatever like that. So it carries intentions from an energetic level. That's what intentions represents, like a sort of carrying from back. You know what I'm saying? Now it's carrying this with it. So it builds an aggression, it builds a willpower, it builds a certain spark, a certain nervous energy, a certain fire in you to make you do things that you wouldn't intentionally do. Mars. See, that's Mars for a Mars video. But when I get into the Mars, this still relates to the Venus, because Venus is how you feel behind the things. All these planets work intertwined together. They're all important. Every planet is important. You need to know that before you even get into anything else. Don't be going and thinking like, oh, I just know my sun and moon and that's it. All these planets is important, because you may know your sun and moon and you may run into a person who have the same sun and moon and y'all still nothing alike. Everything matters. You know what I'm saying? Now, Venus is how you feel. There's a thin line between your emotions and your feelings. Now, the little thin line right there is that when you feel something, you have to, your emotional plays say, like, for an example, a computer, right? Now your moon gonna play as the computer. The Venus, not the moon, but your emotions. It's a thin line between emotions and feelings. Your emotions is connected more to your moon, and your feelings is connected more to your Venus. Now they intertwine because they're both female, and they share a mother and daughter relationship. So this is what you have to understand. So once you understand the mother and daughter relationship between the moon and Venus, you're going to understand that Venus listens to the mother. So, but the mother has a certain love for the daughter. So a lot of times that, you know, the daughter may appreciate their father more and may argue a lot with their mothers, you know what I'm saying, and do this, that, and the third. So this situation plays out amongst Earth. It's playing out up there also. You know what I'm saying? You get the type of relationships, the catty relationships between the daughter and the mother and all that. All that plays out because of Venus and the moon, which is our natural incarnations of and perception of what a mother-daughter is supposed to be, and how we're playing it out. As above, so below, as below, so above. As right, as left, as right. So you know what I'm saying? It's like we're playing out what the moon and Venus actually doing. So when we see things, so when you see all kinds of different relationships between the daughters and mothers, this naturally plays out with how the planets is playing. And this even goes down to, like, Neptune could be considered grandmother. You know what I'm saying? So Neptune, moon, Venus, they all connected in a way. Like, and then the moon is connected to Saturn, which is listen, that's another video. But look, we're gonna talk about Venus right now. Venus. So it's like, once you know the role it plays, now you know you can kind of distinguish a little bit between what's the thin line between the emotions and the feelings. Now, the little thin line is, like I was saying, for an example. Now, your emotions, which come from your moon sign, your emotional state, how you are, your inner self, which is the most, moon can be your most important planet of all, because how did you even come into this world? Through your mother, right? Who's the mother? The natural mother, the moon. So the moon, it manifested you from a realm of non-seeing to seeing, which it only came to seeing through the yang, through the sun, through the male, through the action, which was actually orientated to bring you through existence from the realm of unseen, which is the moon, which is the yin. So what happens here is, you know what I'm saying, is this your emotional state and how you emotionally are and how you emotionally react. So then when you have Venus, it feels. So when you only can feel from an outside reference, you can sit down and think to yourself, but you're only gonna catch feelings from how things make you feel from the outside. That's why Venus is the relation planet also, and it's the receiving planet also. So this you want to know what house your Venus in, because this is where you're gonna receive. Wherever house is in, that's where you receive the most. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be good or bad in your life, which is no such thing as good or bad, but what you think to be good or bad, that's how it would play out within your house and your life path. Now, Venus also, how it feels. Now, feelings spark certain emotions. Now, your emotions is already there because, one second. Okay. Okay. Yeah, now, feelings spark certain emotions, so your emotional state is already there because that's your moon sign. Now, the feelings going to come from outside references, and it's going to spark certain emotions. So, if you have, so say somebody may have done you wrong or something like that, it's going to spark a feeling. Then that feeling is going to get filtered through the mother, which is the moon, and it's going to spark a certain emotion, and then the emotion is going to spark what kind of feeling you have out of it. But it has to get filtered through the emotion, your emotional state. Now, for an example, because people might think, oh, that's the same thing anyway. No, that's why I say it's a thin line. It's a thin line. I ain't saying it's a big line, it's a thin line, because they're still female. They're mother and daughter relationship. So here's it go. Let me give you an example. Say your moon sign is, say your moon sign is Taurus, but your Venus is Sagittarius. Now, here's what happens. Okay, now your moon, which is Taurus, is going to want to be stable. It's going to want to stay put. It don't want to make any uncertain moves without knowing the consequences of the move. So here common sense plays in, because it's Earth. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't want to make any uncertain moves unless it's certain that they're going to accomplish what they're going to get out of that move that they're going to make. Now, their Venus is in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, what is Sagittarius? Sagittarius is the freedom planet, the freedom sign, the sign that wants to experience all landscapes. It doesn't necessarily mean traveling. It's just landscapes of realms of reality, which they like to explore your landscape, and also the land. They understand that the way they see things may not be necessarily the way others may see things because of the way that they was brought up different. All signs don't understand that. Sagittarius understand that. They know not to prejudge. So what happens here is you have a person who love not being. They love because Venus is the planet of love, the way you feel, what you appreciate, things you enjoy, your pleasures. So right here in Sagittarius, it loves freedom. It loves being free. It loves to learn the meaning behind things. It doesn't like to stay in one spot. It loves to experience and put itself out there in the unknown to see what it can learn to gain from the experience. Now that's what it loves to do. So right now that's the feeling. That's the feeling. It feels that. It feels that way. So if you ask this person, they feel that way. They like going out. They love going out. So now you got the moon and Taurus, which I said. Now this happens as a quincunx. But before we get to the quincunx right here, which is a sign before or after the opposite sign that causes a quincunx. Now in Taurus, right, a quincunx itself, it doesn't understand itself. I mean, it doesn't understand, and it doesn't try to learn. Like the square is the learn, you know what I'm saying? But the quincunx is the not understanding and not trying to learn. So when the moon is in Taurus, it wants to be stable or whatever like that. Now the person gonna sit back and be like, man, I like going out and all that shit, but I just don't like the way I feel when I go out. Now, when they say I don't like the way I feel, that's the feeling getting filtered through the emotional state. So this person loves to go out, but the emotional state that they're in when they go out, they don't like it, which is the moon. So when they say they feel, it's still intertwined, but that's like I said, it's a thin line. That's the thin line between the feeling and emotional state. The person moon sign, the way they react when they're in a party state, if it's in Taurus, for the example I just gave, if it's in Taurus, they really don't like going out like that. They like to be stable. They don't like to be that spontaneous, and their emotional state is more comfortable in the comfort of their surroundings. So in a party segment, when people just doing all kind of crazy shit, his emotional state or her emotional state may not like that, but they love to do that. So they may not understand why they put themselves in certain situations sometimes, but they just like to do that sometimes. But that's just a little quincunx right there. See, I shouldn't have gave an example of a quincunx, but maybe I should have. That's an example of how a quincunx work out also. So we got we knocked out a bird with one stone, 2 birds with 1 stone. You know what I'm saying? We know how a quincunx work. It's like the understanding and not trying to learn, and we see how the little thin line between the feeling and emotion. The Sagittarius Venus sparked the emotion of not liking to be in this situation, which is the Taurus moon, but loves to do it. You know what I'm saying? But by it being a quincunx, that's how that play out naturally. Like if I was to make another example, it would play out another way. Like every sign, every angle, everything play out in different ways. So that's why it's important to know degrees. You know what I'm saying? And Venus, you know, Venus is the pleasure. So you want to know what house is in, you want to know what sign is in. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get into the signs. I'm probably going to do a house segment on all the planets also. You know what I'm saying? Also, you know, Venus, Venus is the relaxed planet. It doesn't like discourse. It doesn't like people. It doesn't like debate. You know what I'm saying? Like on a small form, on a small scale, depending on where your Mars at, is how, and the relationship it have with Venus is how pleasant you can debate, how good you can debate, or how bad. But you know, debate don't necessarily have to be an argument. You know what I'm saying? We see that even with the president elections and shit like that. But a debate could go through anything, even analyzing a problem with you and another one. You know what I'm saying? So how good your Venus is placed with Mars is knowing how pleasant. But just Venus in general, Venus doesn't like to don't like to do that. Venus does its own thing. Venus has its own cycle. Venus deals with the emotion, like it deals with the mother. It's trying to learn the emotions from the mother, so it deals with it because the feelings get filtered through the emotions. But it's the feeling itself. You know what I'm saying? It's just the feelings, and the moon is the emotion. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Venus give you what you want, but like in a childlike way. So it's like real thickle. It's like it's not much as the moon where you can manifest an outcome of a situation. It's more of a subtle lore on a pyramid type situation because it's the daughter. It's not the mother. It's the daughter. So it's more as sudden pleasures, like like hugs and appreciation. You know what I'm saying, from others, or even if, depending on where your Venus at, that you give to others. If your Venus in a bad place, or if your Venus, like for an example, my Venus is opposite my moon. My moon is in Sagittarius, my Venus is in Gemini. So what happens here is I don't feel, every time I receive love, I don't feel like I'm warranted for it. Like I don't feel like I deserve it. And I don't know why. I'm learning now to get over it, but you know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like I deserve certain things. And then when others is in need, or I feel like I have to go above and beyond for others to feel accepted. You know what I'm saying? That's because it's the opposite. It's a give and receive. So I don't feel comfortable with the receive, so I overgive. And then I don't think I deserve to receive. And then by dealing with my moon sign being the one that's opposite from Venus, I manifest this a lot of times. So I manifest people not appreciating, people not overlooking me and stuff like that because I overlook myself. You know what I'm saying? So I manifest that. So I have to learn to do that. I have to learn how to give and receive. I have to learn the balance. It's about every time you have an opposition in your chart, you have to learn how to balance the two. So you know what I'm saying? That's what I deal with. It's a learning process every day. Nobody have all the answers. You know what I'm saying? But this is a little quick video on Venus. I'm finna get into the Venus and the signs. And you know, Flightboss, bitch, you know, for sure. Grams, hey.